The gestational diabetes test, what is it, why is it, and why did I have to go for it? People who either have a history of diabetes in their family or are a higher risk pregnancy, you have no choice. You have to have the gestational diabetes test. Now the diabetes test, you actually have to go in fasted. You're not allowed anything at all to eat or drink except for water. It's currently week 24, day 0, or week 23, day 7, depending on how you count. I have actually just got home from work. Hi, Squeaky McSqueakerson, as usual. I've not long got home from work and I'm just currently chilling with my parrots and having a rest. Get off his monitor. No, I don't care. You don't go on his monitor. No, you're not scratching it. It's a brand new monitor. You're not touching it. As you can see, my parrots are causing a muck as usual. I'm actually quite confused today. I've actually been able to put the hair up for the first time in months. Already something I'm not used to. I quite prefer having it down. I might actually just take it out now while I'm at it. Just give myself a bit of freedom. Freedom in the hair. There we go. Cough, I just realised you pooed all over me again. No, you need to get out of this habit. So I've actually had a really quiet day at work. I've only had the one dog walk, so I've been able to actually get home really early. I'm just currently cooking my dinner and I'm just having my usual eggs, noodles and broccoli, just so that I've got something in my system. And apologies for the squeaking in the background. My girls are being menaces as usual. I'm just currently doing a bit of video editing. I do plan on doing some exercise tonight. I'm desperate to do some exercise tonight because I had a really busy weekend. I ended up being completely KO'd on Saturday. I had no energy whatsoever. I know, Friday. So on Friday, I ended up getting home really late again. I ended up KOing. I was absolutely exhausted. I think I got home and had a nap in the end before then getting up and just having my tea and then doing lots of video editing because I needed to get a video out for my channel as well as a video for the girls' channel. I just didn't end up having time to exercise. I also didn't have the energy to exercise on Friday. Then on Saturday, I was KO'd. My energy was completely tanked. I battled to stay awake for most of the day. I did get plenty of video editing done. I got loads of video editing done on Saturday, but energy-wise, I was drained. Minions' movements were even more noticeable. They're still not as noticeable as I would like, but they were more noticeable and I have started seeing some slight patterns, but they're still not patterny enough for my liking. Because that Saturday I had a rest day and just focused on learning Minions movements and learning Minions movement patterns, I ended up KOing again and falling asleep and having a nap on Saturday afternoon because I was just so exhausted. And then we went for a meal with Jason's mum and dad at the local pub because we've not actually been to the local pub yet, and had a meal at the local pub to see what that was like. I'll be honest, I just had a margarita pizza because it was meant to be stone baked, so I just thought I'd want to know what their pizza was like, and it was actually really nice. The food there was very pub-esque, but very delicious, very lovely. Then Sunday, me and Jason planned to have a really busy day. We were going to go shopping. We were going to go to the farm shop and get some food, get some fruit and veg in, and we didn't end up doing that because we both woke up very late. We ended up having a lie-in and we're not too sure why. The lie-in just kind of happened. When we did eventually get up, we did the other thing that we said we were going to do today, which is tidy up the house, and that was literally just run around, try and get as much done in the back kitchen as we physically could, get that tidied away and sorted, and also put some stuff away in the loft, because even though the loft isn't ready, it still needs some insulation. We still need to put floorboards down to make it safer to walk around and store things. There was some storage space up there, so we decided to start putting things away up there just to get rid of some of the clutter in the house. And the house is looking a lot less cluttered now. We're still looking a bit cluttered over by the window, where at the moment things are just piled up because we sorted through all the books and DVDs. We have 3 boxes, like big boxes of DVDs and books, all waiting to go to charity. A couple of people have said, why don't you sell them online? And it's like, well, we'll only get a couple of quid for them. I'm not fussed. I'd rather them go to the charity, and a charity that genuinely needs the money actually use them and get the money from them that way. Those are there waiting for Jason's next day off for him to take them to charity because I physically can't pick them up on my own. They are way too heavy. So we literally spent most of the day doing that. By the time we finished, we were both knackered, like physically knackered, and ended up just gaming for the rest of the night. Like just gaming all the way through the day because we were just tanked. Yeah, we were. The girls enjoyed it though because it meant they got to spend all day with us. Yes, you did. You got to spend all day with us yesterday. Now today's Monday, and like I said, I've only had the one walk today, so I've actually had a really quiet and easy day. But I think Minion is going through another growth spurt or some sort of spurt because I am low energy. It could also be because I've not had a lot of veg in the last couple of days. Oh, not enough anyway. It's like I had lots of fruit yesterday and Saturday, but I've not had much veg, and veg is where the iron and the energy is, so that might be why I'm a bit low on energy. However, I have my gestational diabetes test tomorrow, which is annoying and I am not looking forward to it. But I do want to get some exercise done tonight. Apparently that does help with insulin control, supposedly. So the plan for tonight is after these two have gone to bed, yes, you minions have gone to bed and I have finished eating, we're spending the rest of the day video editing, and I'm going to video edit up until these two go to bed, and then once these two go to bed I will do my exercises. I am planning to do my Tom Morrison mobility ski program and have a look at the hybrid calisthenics. If the hybrid calisthenics is the things that I can't do, like the twists and the knee raises, then I'll just do general calisthenics training like I have been doing. But the goal for tonight's training is to get at least 3 sets in of each exercise, because at the moment I'm still down to 1 set per exercise of about 5 to 10 reps, depending on which exercise it is and how strong I'm feeling that day. But I am getting better, like my reps are increasing. So what I want to do tonight is try and get 3 sets of reps in each exercise as a minimum. Whether or not that'll actually happen is another question, but that is the plan. That is the hope, that is the dream.
Or violin.
Considering your history, I'd want to say violin. Saying that, I've not come across many violins in the game. Considering your history, I'd suggest violin, because that is your specialisation. Right, it is actually now quite late at night. It is nearly 8 o'clock, and I am freaking determined I will get my exercises done tonight while I have energy. I actually have energy and I have time. I've got a whole video edited and up and ready in 2 days' time. It is now time to do exercises. So we're going to start with the Tom Morrison simplistic mobility method, and then try and do some calisthenics training. I say try because the Tom Morrison is currently the more important, because I need the flexibility of mobility training, and then the calisthenics is secondary for the strength training side of things. Right, so that is my mobility done. I'm so warm. I'm so freaking warm. But now it's time for quick calisthenics. I say quick calisthenics. I'm going to do hybrid calisthenics today because it is incline pull-ups and jackknife squats, which are quite important right now. I might try some incline press ups. I'm not too sure. And maybe some hangs or some scapular pulls just to work on my back, because I really need to stretch out my back. My lower back has been in so much pain this last week because baby's weight is really pulling forward, causing my back to arch quite badly, because I've actually got, my bump is actually starting to look like a bump now, which is nice, but it is pulling on my back quite badly. So I really do need to try and do something with my lower back just to stretch it out, or to get it bending in the right direction. So for the horizontal pull-ups, level 1 is 2 sets of 15, level 2, 2 sets of 30, and level 3, 3 sets of 30. I'm going to try and do 3 sets anyway, but no idea how well I'm going to do. We'll see how many we get. I'm shocked. I'm genuinely shocked we actually did it. Level 3, 3 sets of 30. How the frick I did that, I'll never know. Well, it's progress. It is huge progress, considering I really struggled with level 2. So I had level 1 or level 2 last time I did hybrid calisthenics pull-ups. So that's big progress, big progress. Now, for jackknife squats, level 1, 2 sets of 15, level 2, which I believe is the one we're up to, 2 sets of 25, and level 3, 3 sets of 35. I'm pretty confident I'm not gonna get level 3, but we can at least try for level 2. Although at this point I'll be amazed if I pass level 1. There we go, we didn't quite get level 2. We nearly got level 2. We were five reps off both sets. The fact that I managed to push myself to 20 is just, my bum and my thighs were burning by the end of that one. And I'm so warm. I'm so freaking warm right now. So I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna do some stretching, do some hanging, just try and stretch out my back. And that's me done for the day. And then tomorrow, Gestational Diabetes Day. Yay! so gestational diabetes test is over. I've not long left the hospital because obviously not allowed to record in there, not allowed to record what's happening, what's going on or anything, for the safety of the staff more than anything. I believe I did manage to catch a glimpse of what my first test was, which was 4.4, but the second test I believe goes off to the lab and the lab do a more in-depth test. I'm not too sure how it all works. It does look like my fasting blood sugars do seem to be within normal level, which is good. I now just need to wait to find out if my sugared level is within normal level. It needs to be either 7.8 or 7.7 or below to be classed as non-diabetic. 7.8 to 11 is pre-diabetic and anything above 11 is diabetic. So we're now just having to wait and see what those results are. I've been told that if it is non-diabetic, then won't know. I'll just get it updated on my Badger notes. If it is pre-diabetic or diabetic, then I will get a phone call from my midwife as soon as they get the results. So it's a situation where no news is good news. No news is good news on this occasion. So I've actually just nipped to Tesco to get myself some food. I am just snacking on some yo sushi, which no, it is not. It is cooked sushi, so it's like, it's safe. Cooked rice, cooked chicken, stuff like that. So it's safe for me to eat. It's perfectly fine. I'm just going to snack on this quickly before I head off. At least that way it's got something on my stomach, but without starving to death too badly. And we are back from our diabetes appointment, or our gestational diabetes test. And I'm tired. I've actually been home for about an hour and a half and, well, not quite, how long is it? Not quite an hour and a half, about 45 minutes, give or take. And I'm knackered. My brain just shut off when I got home. I have literally been sat here at my desk watching YouTube videos or just doom scrolling. It was so hard to get off that doom scroll. Saying that, it's always hard to get off a doom scroll when, like, this is the reason I didn't want TikTok and Instagram anymore. It's just because if I get going, I can't stop. Anyway, the gestational diabetes test. What is it? Why is it? And why did I have to go for it? The gestational diabetes test is just that. It's to test whether or not you have pregnancy diabetes, which some people, even if they're not diabetic, can sometimes develop gestational diabetes. It is essentially due to the hormones of the baby or something along those lines. Your insulin tends to misbehave and ends up overspiking and things like that. I don't really know the medical side of it because I'm not a medical professional. You'd have to look into it a bit more, do your own research into what it actually happens and what it actually is. With the gestational diabetes test, you do have a choice of whether or not you want to take it or not. However, with people who either have a history of diabetes in their family or are a higher risk pregnancy, you have no choice. You have to have the gestational diabetes test. Because I'm down as a geriatric mother, which so far only one person has actually said that to me, which was the first midwife I ever met. Still not happy about that. My current midwife said, "You're not geriatric." I was like, apparently I am. Even so, if you are a older mother or if you have a autoimmune condition like I do, causing you to be a higher risk pregnancy, or if you have diabetes in your family, which I do. I think it was my grandmother and grandfather on my mother's side, and my dad also has type 2 diabetes. So there is a history of diabetes in my immediate family, and because of that they wanted to do the gestational diabetes test. So as well as my autoimmune condition and the fact that I've got a history of diabetes and the fact that I'm a high risk pregnancy, I didn't get a choice. My gestational diabetes test got booked long before I could even oppose it. It's been booked in the system now for about 2 months, I think, if not more. It's been in there for a while. It's been in there for a long while. The gestational diabetes test can be anywhere from 2 to 3 hours long. Sometimes it can actually be longer if there is any form of delay on the actual hospital side of things. Luckily, mine was within the strict 2 hours. This morning when I got up, I found out pretty early on that there was actually an accident on one of the neighbouring motorways to our town, which always causes really, really bad traffic. So just in case, I plan to set off extra early just to avoid rush hour traffic, and then set off even earlier still to avoid the motorway traffic or the motorway congestion traffic. Luckily for me, that actually meant I was one of the first people there to arrive, and because of that I was the first one in and first one to get my diabetes test for the day. Now the diabetes test, you actually have to go in fasted. You're not allowed anything at all to eat or drink except for water from midnight of the day of your test. So from midnight all the way through to when your test takes place, you're not allowed to eat a single thing. You're not allowed to have any tea, you're not allowed to have any pop, which luckily I don't drink tea or pop anyway. You're only allowed water. No juice, no fruit juices, no nothing, no cordial. Just water from midnight all the way up until the time of your test. Then when you go in for your test, you have a blood test. They usually take a variety of blood samples so that they can do a general... Is this delivery for me? Yes, it is. Sorry about that, Jason had a delivery. So anyway, when you actually go in for your diabetes test, they take a variety of blood samples, and this is to test your overall blood to make sure there's no changes, there's no anomalies, to make sure your liver and kidney and everything else is still working fine. They send that off just to be sure, and then they have one tube which is the diabetes sample. They do a quick blood test at the start just to see, and then they send it off for full analysis. Once you have had that first blood sample taken, they then give you this really thick syrupy drink, and it is quite literally pure sugar. It is very sickly. Now usually I'm a sweet tooth, usually I'm a massive sweet tooth. I love my sugary foods, but not since getting pregnant. Since getting pregnant, I do not enjoy sugary foods anywhere near as much. I actually struggle to have more than a handful of sugar a day, which is really weird. I've gone from having vegan chocolate spread on crumpets and things like this to not having any chocolate spread at all, maybe once a week if I feel like it. It's very strange when you get pregnant and all your food preferences change. It's the weirdest sensation, because suddenly everything that you have in the house you have to completely change around to match your new desires and wants. And even though I've still not had any cravings, I have had a lot of food aversions, and sugar is not an aversion, but something that's become less desirable and less palatable. So this syrupy, sugary syrup gloop is the only thing I can describe it. It looks like water. It genuinely looks like water, but then when you drink it, it's like clear medicine, and it is so syrupy, and it's not appealing. It's not nice. It's not terrible. It's got pretty much no flavour, it's just very sickly sweet. So I necked this drink, and then you're sent back to the waiting room, and you've got to wait for 2 hours before your next blood test, because the first blood test is a fasted blood test and the second blood test is after you've had a sugar spike, and it's to monitor how your insulin reacts to that additional sugar. Thankfully, I knew about this. I knew I was going to have a 2-hour no food, no drink, only water and this sugary syrup wait before I could actually eat anything or do anything or go anywhere. So I took a book with me. I took Sarah J Maas's The Assassin's Blade, which I've nearly finished. I'm at the very end of the book now. Didn't quite finish it while I was there. I took the book, I had a read, and that book thankfully lasted me the whole 2 hours. I put it away about 10 minutes before I was due to go in, messaged a couple of people, and then went back in for my second blood test, which, when you've already had one blood test 2 hours ago and then you've got to have a second blood sample taken 2 hours later, it's just, your brain just isn't prepared for it. It's like, don't want to do it. Don't let me do it again. Which is stupid, because it's the simplest thing. It is the simplest thing, having your blood taken, especially when you've got a vein as big as mine. The nurses all love my vein. The nurses all love my veins because they're just so big and obvious and easy to stick into. But you don't want it. You don't want that second blood test when you've not long been poked. But then after that second blood test is done, I got offered a biscuit, and I had to actually check with the nurse. It's like, do any of those biscuits contain milk? She's like, oh, I've never been asked that before. I'm like, well, I'm not the only one with a dietary issue with milk, so surprised that no one's ever asked that before. So I ended up going through and I found one of the biscuits that didn't have milk. It had wheat and oatmeal but didn't have milk, so I was able to take that and nibble on that. I also took a Huel with me, the shaky type Huel, so that I had some form of nutrition in my body. I actually still have about half a bottle here that I've not finished. I'm slowly slipping through. But once that second test was done, I was allowed to eat, I was allowed to snack, I was allowed to drink whatever I wanted again. I actually went to Tesco, because Tesco isn't far from the hospital in this town, and treated myself to some of my favourite food, and then headed home. And I ended up home a lot earlier than I anticipated. I think I got home about... I got home about 12 o'clock, and it's now 1:30. So I have been sat here for about an hour and a half doing nothing. I got home about 12, got all my stuff out the car, and I have since been sat... My video editing software needed updating, so I updated that. I have since been watching YouTube videos and doom scrolling, because my brain just wasn't with it. My brain wasn't functioning today. Oh, I think the lack of blood has sort of slowed me down, which you wouldn't think it would. You wouldn't think it did, considering you gain 50% blood when you're pregnant. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling because I'm tired, and I do actually need to get some video editing done, and I need to get my parrots from downstairs. For the gestational diabetes test, if you do have to have it, or if you choose to have it, just in case, then I would highly recommend taking a book and a snack with you. Do not touch the snack until after your second test, which is usually 2 hours after your first test. and make sure to only drink water, and please take a book or have a game on your phone or take a word puzzle or a book puzzle or something just to keep you busy for that 2 hours, because if you've got something to keep you busy, the time will pass a lot faster than if you don't take something with you. I am going to stop nattering now and I am going to get on with my day because I've not really got much planned for today. This is one of only 2 quiet days today. So I'm going to try and get lots of video editing done today, at least get 1 more video edited if possible, because I've got a very busy week coming up. I've got a quieter day tomorrow with my dogs and also in general. Then on Thursday, I have work and BSL choir. On Friday, I have work and a BSL choir performance. And then on Saturday, I have another BSL choir performance. And then on Sunday, I'm going free flying with my friends. So it's a really busy week in that sense. What a way to start week 24, my God. So I am going to take tonight as a rest evening because I've already done my exercises yesterday and I'm actually quite tired today. Like I said, I don't know what's going on. My brain just doesn't want to function today and I am quite tired. So I'm probably going to go have a nap if I'm being honest. I'm going to do some exercise tomorrow while it's my last free evening of the week. And then I've got a very busy weekend. So my next day of exercise after that will probably be Saturday, but we'll see. We will see how we get on. But that is how week 24 is starting. And I will hopefully see you tomorrow when we do a quick bit of work and then some exercises.